You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Welcome to Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with your host, Rosalind Sedaka. Join Rosalind each week on a journey toward overcoming life's many challenges to achieve peace, empowerment, and positive transformation. It's time to relax, unwind, and transform your life with Rosalind Sedaka.
Hello, everyone. This is Rosalind Sedaka, founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network. And you are listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network, and this show is Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with Rosalind Sedaka. And as you know, every show we talk about valid, important, and timely experiences related to divorce and dating and empowered living, and today is no different. I have a wonderful guest that I'm very honored to have join us. And we're going to be talking about an area of life that too many of us have experienced, and that is narcissism in partners, relationship partners. So I'm going to introduce you soon to ShaRon Rhea, and she's a certified family communication and relationship specialist, as well as an author, speaker, and founder of the Whole Family Coaching. ShaRon is an expert in parenting solutions for co-parenting after divorce and parents raising teens, grandparents raising their grandkids, and every caregiver committed to raising happy, well-adjusted children of any age. She's also founder of the global movement No Judgment, Just Love, which I'm going to ask her about, and inspiring us all to live together with unconditional allowance, one courageous action at a time. So I'm very honored and proud to introduce you all to ShaRon Rhea. How are you today?
Good morning, Rosalind. I'm doing really well out here in sunny Scottsdale. Very excited to be with you on your show today. Thank you.
Yes, so you and I focus a lot in our practices on co-parenting after divorce, during and after divorce. And as we both know, every divorce is different and every parental relationship is different, but everyone has experiences with challenges with an ex, but they're particularly difficult when you're dealing with someone with a narcissistic personality. And unfortunately, you have had that experience in your life, and you recently wrote an article titled, "I am grateful for the narcissists in my life." So that is certainly an uncommon perspective.
Yes,
and I think we'll start by my asking you, how did you get there?
Well, you're right. It is very uncommon, and I didn't get there miraculously. It was from a lot of hard, difficult, frustrating times with my former spouse. And the way I got there is partly through my desire at this age to live a life of peace and calm. And how do you get there, when someone is just really being a wall and not allowing any real conversation, collaboration, middle road, or just standing on their wall, and you're beating yourself against it. So the message that I delivered throughout the world, No Judgment, Just Love, allows me to question everything, Rosalind. I mean, everything. Some of the things that I have been accustomed to thinking really don't serve me, and they don't serve my desire to allow people to be themselves. So the first thing I did is I questioned my why. Why am I being so frustrated by this person? Because, as you know, we can only control our own behavior. And we can control how we define things. And as long as I was defining this situation with him as frustrating and difficult, and he's blocking things and I can't win, well, that's what I got. Because the more you think on something and focus on it, the more it becomes your reality. So I decided to do what you and I teach about and talk about and coach about so well, which is I have to, first of all, decide how I'm going to come to peace with this. And most importantly, the children deserve us to get along so that they can see how to live as adults. He wasn't participating, so I had to do it on my own.
Yes.
And I'd love to give a quick example of how I shifted and changed the fight to the peace.
Yes.
So my former husband, we both shared in our marriage credit cards. And I was a stay-at-home mom, and he was a very strong professional that traveled and went out of the home a lot. And as the leader of our home, I would purchase things for the outside, for the inside, at will. I didn't ask permission because we shared that credit card. Well, once things started to get difficult, I was noticing there were charges from him that I didn't quite agree with. And so as he was away, he called me and I said, I really have to talk to you about something, in my angry voice and frustrated voice. And he says, well, and I heard the energy coming from him, which was, okay, I'm back at this wall again. And so we hung up because he said, I'll call you back in about 10 minutes. So within that 10 minutes, I started to use what I thought was going to be working for me and discovered it absolutely did, which is I want peace. So if I continue this conversation in this way, peace is not coming. So how can I reframe this so that I tell myself the truth, I create a healthy boundary, and I achieve peace? And you know what I came to, Rosalind?
Tell me.
We share a credit card. I don't ask him what I want to buy for the house or home. He doesn't need to ask me how he spends the money that he makes. I don't agree with it, but he doesn't need to ask me. And so when he got back on the phone, I was at peace with that. And he was ready for a fight. And I just said, I thought about it, and I said exactly that. I said, I buy things for the home. You don't ask. I don't ask. You can buy things for yourself or whomever, whatever. I don't need to ask. So thanks for calling back, but I don't really have anything else to say.
And that caught him totally off guard.
Totally. There was silence on the other end. So, when you can reframe your game, telling yourself the truth, creating that healthy boundary, and have a foundation or a goal that you want to achieve. And for me, it was peace, because this relationship was difficult, it was frustrating, and our divorce was just beginning.
Wow. So reframing is such an important piece of communication puzzle. When reframing, meaning we take the circumstances and we look at them in a different way. They mean something differently to us. We make it mean something different, and because of that we have a different mindset, a different approach, and it gives us new options for new choices and decisions. Is that right?
Absolutely accurate. That's a wonderful way to put it.
So you found ways to think about the frustrations of co-parenting with your husband and someone who you felt was being vindictive and not willing to work with you, and you resisted the temptation to just want to fight back or get into being defensive or being a victim. So can you talk a little bit more about how you dealt with his behavior and what decisions you made that made things better for you and also capable of moving on into a divorce?
Well, the first thing I want to share is that I had to feel everything I was feeling. So I wasn't denying that I was pissed off. I was being vindictive. I was angry. I was battling. And in those moments of that emotion, I really became aware this wasn't getting me anywhere. It really wasn't moving our family forward. So each time I experienced that, it was more motivation for me to do something different. Just like you said, reframe my game, reframe the situation so that I could implore my no judgment, just love, because that's who I am becoming and who I am. So that he has value, I have value. And as long as I don't see his value, I'm stuck in the us and them. And we're in a competition with our children for their affection, for their attention. And so in order to see his value without denying who I am, I had to affirm where my value was. And that is an important exercise for co-parents to do, because often we get tripped up and feel that we're not valuable in certain ways, that the other parent is either taking our power or doing something that we wish we were doing. Well, yeah, what I discovered is in a two-parent relationship, whether you're married or you're divorced or you're separated, each one of you brings skills to raising the children that the other one may or may not have in abundance. So what I realized is I am the parent that is emotionally stable for them, that helps them find their center, that helps them uncover because we have two daughters, uncover who they are as women in the world. His gift and talent is structure and safety and, having organization. So as long as I could recognize that and value that, then I had a different way of looking at him, which caused me to have a different way of interacting with him.
So despite the fact that you were so frustrated and outraged by certain behaviors, you were able to take the time to find some things of value in him, some qualities that were positive attributes or were valuable for the children that you both love, and you focused on that. And also at the same time, you had to be working on your self-esteem, as you were saying. You had to realize that you were not a victim and that it was important for you to feel good about yourself.
Yes, and that is the direction that I took, combined with, like the airline said, putting my oxygen mask on first. And Rosalind, that's a tender journey, because I had to be truly truthful with myself. Okay, ShaRon, there's two people in this relationship. You are not the total champion and you're not the total victim. Each of you had your own part in moving this to the divorce place. So you're going to have to take ownership for the things you did well and the things you can change and do differently. And that's where that's where the quiet time for us is so valuable. We are in a society where everything is what's next, moving forward, keep going. And there is value in quiet. There is value in the space between the next activity. And so I was purposeful at taking quiet time to just be with me, to really learn who I was, that I didn't want to continue, and who I am becoming.
So what I talk about to my clients is doing the inner work, and it sounds like that's just another way of talking about what you're saying, is taking time to do the inner work and look for the lessons in that divorce, that breakup, or that other challenge in your life before you move ahead and make decisions and take actions. Because if you can't own your own part in the situation, then what's going to keep you from repeating that same pattern, and why we see so many people divorce again and again and again because they take no responsibility. You sat in quiet place and looked at your part in the relationship, his part in the relationship, and what you are going to do differently, because you can't make him do anything differently, because the only one we can ever change is ourselves.
That is so true. And what I did uncover is we can't change someone's behavior, but we can be a catalyst for influencing different behaviors from them by the healthy boundaries.
Yes. Say that again, because that's a key takeaway here.
Yes. We cannot change someone's behavior, but we can have the opportunity to influence how they change and react to our different behavior by creating healthy boundaries and seeing their value. And so when someone doesn't have something to rail against or fight against, they have some choices. They could either fight by themselves, which most people don't want to do because they're not receiving any payback from that, or they could walk away, which he didn't have the option because we're in a co-parenting situation. And what I discovered was, not every time, not right away, but he did shift. And I could feel that he was acting and reacting differently to me. And that was powerful motivation to keep going.
It's so important for our listeners to realize that when one person shifts in a relationship, the other person has to shift. They're not aware that they may be, but if one person shifts, it forces the other person to have to shift their behavior in response. And if you're shifting in a conscious way and setting healthy new boundaries, then your partner has to reestablish ways of dealing with you, and you've taken the battling and the fighting out of the equation, right?
Yes, exactly. Just like I did on that telephone call when he was like, yeah, I'm not interested in battling with you because my history has been I don't win. We just keep going round and round, so let me find something different. Oh, my gosh.
That's
Rosalind, when it worked, when it worked, I was just elated.
Yes. I'm going to stop you right here because we're going to have to take a quick break. And this is Rosalind Sedaka, founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network, and we are on WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network, on divorce, dating, and empowered living, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Cece Schatz, and I want to welcome you to Going Solo Next Step. We are an innovative, transformational site with a personal touch, as we are an online, interactive, social website connecting other like-minded individuals who are adjusting to their new life of being single. Going Solo Next Step will connect and help you deal with issues such as relationship loss, divorce recovery, relationship building, transition into dating, single parenting, spiritual connection, inspirational plus personal growth, sparking your career and understanding your life path, wants, and goals. As you begin relationship building, you will enjoy Going Solo Next Step social activities and forums designed to connect you and other like-minded individuals to make great, everlasting friends. Together, we will all have fun in growing number of social groups and gatherings, both in your location and online. This and so much more is in store for you. You can join me on www.goingsolonextstep.com. I'm looking forward to being with you right there on Going Solo Next Step. See you there.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Rosalind Sedaka, founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network. You're listening to Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living on the Going Solo Network. And my guest today is ShaRon Rhea, who's a certified family communication and relationship specialist, author, and coach, and she's been talking to us about handling a relationship with someone who has a narcissistic personality and choosing different options, because battling never works on either side, especially when you're in a co-parenting situation. So thank you, ShaRon. You've been giving us wonderful information, and I know that you are just launching a new online course called the CoParenting course. So I'm curious as to who you wrote this course for and why it's so important.
Oh, thank you, Rosalind. You and I coach a lot of people that are in different stages of finding peace after divorce. And I would imagine in many states around the country, and I did a little research that I'm confirmed with this, that when you file for divorce, you are required to take a co-parenting course through the court system, as well as when you shift and change your parenting time. And so that was my experience. Is I took that course 45 days, within the 45 days when I was the one that chose to transition our family. And what I found was the courts provide a great foundation of information for the beginning of the co-parenting process. You're not required to do it together. And for me, that was difficult because I really wanted my former spouse to hear the same things that I was hearing at the same time, but that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And so going forward, many of those skills and concepts that I learned, I didn't know if he learned them too, and from my experience, it didn't look like he was using them even if he did. So this course I created from many of my clients' experiences as well as my own, that a week after, 2 months after, even 10 years after you've done with the court case, you're still working on trying to create that relationship that is healthy for the two of you as adults and as parents, but useful and productive for your children to help raise them with your two different parenting styles, your two different perspectives in a healthy way. So this course that I've written is similar to a graduate course for that. It's like the next level of support that co-parents need. Now, the things that I did that were unique and different are, first of all, I know that co-parenting moms have different situations and concerns than co-parenting dads. And most of the court-ordered courses were either self-paced online, or even if they were in person, they were in one chunk. You didn't come back, so you couldn't really absorb the information and come back with questions. So that's what this CoParentingCourse.com online is. It's me teaching live in a private, safe space for a small group of moms, separate from a small group of dads. It's only a month with 4 classes that are 90 minutes each, where you have an abundance of time to receive a concept, and some of the concepts are, what are the ages and stages of your children as you're going through a divorce? What kind of behaviors are they going to have that you would benefit from being aware of? How, like we talked about, do we speak to each other? Because men use different words than women to express themselves. And when you have awareness of that, you're hearing, almost like the language that they speak rather than trying to figure out what they're trying to say. And so you're in these small groups with me teaching live through a healthy PowerPoint that's fun. Because, life in co-parenting, you kind of get muddled in the frustration. But there's got to be fun in your life. And there is fun, especially when you see success. So the CoParentingCourse.com is less stress plus more cooperation from each other can equal peace for the whole family.
So one does not have to live locally in order to take this course, or do they?
No, that's my goal, because I am here in Scottsdale, and even though I have clients in Boston and Florida and California and D.C., I want to make this available to anyone in the world. And so that's why it's online. It's easily found through the name of the course, pretty simple, thecoparentingcourse.com. Nothing to try and confuse you. And then when you get there, you'll get to see my perspective. You'll get to meet me through a little bit about my history. Also, I'm a giver, Rosalind. I'm somebody who likes to give. So you're going to find a free download first when you get there. It's 10 Parenting Pick Me Up, because you need to get picked up a lot. These are tips that will inspire you on those really tough days. And I offer that in 2 different ways. If you're someone who likes to read, there's a PDF for you to read. If you're someone like me who likes Audible, there's a Audible me reading for you, so you don't have to read. Then when you sign up, I always give bonuses. And one of the things I want to share, Rosalind, is that you and I have talked about collaborating after, because what you offer is a continuation of first the course, next me, and then you.
Love the idea. I love the concept, and I love the fact that in each month you start over fresh with 4 classes during the month, so that people can, in that period of time, get access to all the topics that you're covering week after week, and then implement and put it into practice in their life. And then if they have additional co-parenting issues and problems afterwards, then I'm starting a co-parenting group that's going to be able to address those questions and issues in a group setting on a twice-a-month basis, so it can continue for an ongoing period of time. But armed with the background and the information that you're providing and that I'm going to support with, people will never feel unsupported, and they'll never feel that they have no one to turn to get some expert advice and wisdom and strategies for doing co-parenting in a more effective manner. Because don't you feel that what happens is that we try our best, and if something fails, we just don't know what else to do, and we need the support of someone saying, did you try this?
Exactly. I think that, we learn how to use our phones. We're very excited that when a new phone comes in, we're very excited. But with co-parenting, it's a daily, hopeful excitement. Oh, that didn't work, but something will. And when they have the support of you and I, who have not only the coaching experience, but the desire and the no judgment, just love for the job that you're doing, raising your beautiful, beautiful children, it's important to know that we're here. We're here for you.
I totally agree. I love the fact that you talk about no judgment, because when people feel judged, their initial and immediate response is to be on the defensive. It's just an innate reaction. And so even when we're trying to do something in a mature, responsible way, if we're putting our partner or our former partner on the defensive in anything we're doing, and if they're feeling judged especially, there's no way we could have a responsible communication to take care of an issue. And our children pay the price. Our children are suffering because we have parents who are frightened of one another, hate one another, feel insecure around one another, feel resentful towards one another, and we put up walls, and it creates all kinds of issues that really fall into the laps of the children, not getting the best parenting and the best co-parenting they could get. So in the short period of time that we have left, I'd like you to share a couple of takeaways that you have for our listeners, to the wisdom that they can remember to make a shift, because once you make a shift, the other people in your life are more likely to shift as well.
Absolutely. And it's very difficult to shift if you're not standing on your solid ground. So the airlines got it right. Put your own oxygen mask on first. And what that means is take responsibility for your part in not only the co-parenting relationship, but also the parenting of your children relationship, because there's more than just you in that relationship as well. So be tender with yourself. None of us have been a parent for December 3rd, 2019 yet. And every day is new. Every day is an opportunity to be successful from your vantage point instead of being judged by someone else.
So can you speak a little bit more about I love the philosophy you have about peace in your family and in the world are possible, and it starts with us. We can't look outside of us for someone to take the initial steps, because we have the wisdom and the awareness that other people may not have, and the implementation skills. So how do we really move ahead in creating more peace and harmony in our family structure?
The first thing is, of course we judge. That is how we live as humans. You're over there, I'm over here, you're taller, I'm shorter. So it's not the judgment that I'm referring to, because those are going to happen. It's what you do after you make that judgment. Are you coming from a place of anger and separation within your family or within the world? Us and them, so to speak. Because we are all one big human family, not only within our own self, and that's why my business is called The Whole Family, because you are whole. When your family is whole, then your community can be whole. So no judgment means take a breath when you have a thought about yourself, about your former spouse, about your situation. Take a breath, and then decide how you're going to respond. Sometimes we don't need to respond at all. Give yourself permission to just be quiet and keep that thought to yourself. And then once we can carry peace within ourselves, and it's a daily practice. It's a daily practice to be kind to yourself so that you can be kind to each other. And once you do that, and to your children, and you become what you already are, which is the model for how to live in the world for your children. You're showing them how to overcome challenges. You're showing them how to create a life that includes them paying attention to themselves, just like you are, taking time to be less stressed because they've understood what stresses them. And then when you can be that model for your children, you're creating generations beyond you that will know how to be peaceful within themselves so they can show kindness to their family and bring so much peace into the world.
Beautifully said. ShaRon Ria, you and I are very much in alignment, and I love your message, and I think the simplicity with which you share it makes it something that we can all embrace and use and get. So thank you so much for being a guest on our show today, and I appreciate everything you've shared with us.
Thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate this opportunity, and you.
Wonderful. So this is Rosalind Sedaka, and you've been listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. As you know, the show is Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with Rosalind Sedaka, and I am the founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network. And if you're interested in a free ebook on co-parenting effectively, then you can go to childcentereddivorce.com/book and download that immediately. And if you're interested in communicating with me about the upcoming group coaching program that I'm launching, then you could reach me at Rosalind@childcentereddivorce.com. That's ROSALIND @childcentereddivorce.com. We'll be talking to you again soon. Bye-bye for now.